Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but just going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Now reportedly Alexis Sanchez is on the verge of leaving Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given his overarching view on the Alexis Sanchez speculation. He's even hinted out that Alexis Sanchez of course could leave Manchester United. Now we do know that Inter Milan have been in talks with Man United for several weeks over the possibility of taking Alexis Sanchez out on a long season loan, and now reportedly Inter Milan have agreed to pay half of Sanchez's substantial wages and that, and I think we're willing to pay the other half, and I think it's going to be a loan with the option to buy, I think at the end of the season for a further £20 million. So I think Inter Milan will have to pay a further £20 million next year, and that and reportedly it's going to cost us around £13 million as well in wages, of course, to offload Alexis Sanchez. And I did say the only way we're going to get rid of him, of course, is putting him out on a long season loan, because I do believe it's going to be extremely difficult for us to get rid of Sanchez permanently and that. So potentially we do know for the majority of the summer anyway we've been working on getting rid of Alexis Sanchez. Obviously we do know that the other week that Sanchez had turned down a move to Rome. We do know a host of other Italian clubs inquired about getting him. We know AC Milan showed their interest, also Napoli and that were in for him and that. But you got Solskjaer coming out the other week. This was prior to the Wolves game, and he basically said that he expects Sanchez to play a lot of games this season once he's fit, because actually we do know that Sanchez has been below on his fitness, because obviously he's been working to full fitness, and we do know that Sanchez has not participated yet this season. Wasn't part of the squad for the game against Crystal Palace yesterday. Wasn't part of the squad against Wolves, wasn't part of the squad against Chelsea, and of course wasn't part of the pre-season squad, because we do know throughout pre-season Sanchez had been on Copa America duty with Chile, and I think he had sustained a hamstring injury, so he has been working to full fitness. The other week, I think was it a week or two ago now, there was reports emerging out saying that Sanchez could be sent to train with the Manchester United under-23 reserves in order to force him out of the football club, but actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer denied speculation that Sanchez had been training with the reserves in that. But Solskjaer did say in one of his press conferences that Sanchez does want to be a part of the squad this season. He did initially say that he was refusing to leave Manchester United and that, but now according to recent reports he's on the verge of leaving the football club, is Sanchez. But Solskjaer did admit that there has been a number of clubs that have been interested, but I do believe Inter Milan are regarded as the favourites to currently land the Chilean and that. As you all know, Inter Milan have already signed Romelu Lukaku. Obviously that got confirmed a couple of weeks ago. Inter Milan got him for £74 million. I do believe there was add-ons included in that, so in that aspect that was good business for Manchester United, generating a substantial amount for the flop, and also recouping the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago and that. Obviously I think some people say we need a replacement for Lukaku, and we didn't get that replacement for Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, there's definitely still further more investment, needed in the squad. But with Sanchez, he has been a huge disappointment, since his arrival from Arsenal, back in January 2018. Obviously, he came to the club as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan, going to Arsenal and that. And Sanchez on him has managed only 5 goals in 45 games in all competitions. I think he has provided around 9 assists. But I think Sanchez anyway, would be open to making a return back to Italy, because obviously, when he was a lot younger, I think he had 5 successful years with underneath and that, so he's had experience of playing in Italy as Sanchez and that. But yeah, he's been a huge disappointment since his arrival, and he had 4 good years with Arsenal, did Sanchez. He had 3.5 good years at Barcelona when he was younger. He flourished under Pep Guardiola's guidance and that, but he just hasn't replicated any of this form at Manchester United, and he has been a huge disappointment. He's been inconsistent, he's lacked goals, and he hasn't really been a first choice anywhere. And we do know Sanchez is behind the likes of Rashford, Daniel James, Martial. He's behind all them players, so he's going to find game time, very, very difficult indeed. But Solskjaer did admit, the other week that he actually wanted Alexis Sanchez, to stay at Manchester United. But we do know, I think Sanchez's wages anyway are having a really bad effect on the football club, because obviously we do know Sanchez is the highest paid player at Manchester United. He's on, around just under 400 grand a week, but these bonuses and image rights involved, so obviously that rises up to around half a £500,000 pounds a week and that. So I think if we get rid of Sanchez, it'd be really, really good business from the football club, because he's one of the problematic players. Plus, us getting rid of him, it will free up our wage bill and that. And we do know, I think he primarily plays on the left, does Sanchez, and that's when we've mainly put him. When we did play him quite a few times last season, but he's versatile because he can play in various other positions and that. I think the majority of his goals at Arsenal came from that central position. I think he primarily plays in that number 7. You can play him centrally in that, but he could still improve. Could Alexis Sanchez, and to me, he doesn't really have a future at the club anyway. He is now 30 years of age. I think he turns 31 in December, so he really doesn't have a future at the club and that. But yeah, reportedly Inter Milan are in there for him now. Obviously, as it got confirmed earlier on this week, I think it was on Thursday, that Sanchez missed training at Carrington. I'm thinking it was something to do with a visa issue or something like that. But I think he did return to training on Friday. But he has obviously been working to full fitness. But Sanchez has been so inconsistent in that. So we have been working, of course. We've been trying to obviously get rid of him and all that. And last season Sanchez had sustained quite a few injuries and that. But yeah, he's become injury prone, since he's become a Manchester United player. So I do, reportedly, it could happen sometime this week. Sanchez, could leave Manchester United, but it's still going to cost us £13 million in wages to get rid of him. So Inter Milan are going to get him on a loan, and then I think they're going to have the option to buy him permanently next year for around £20 million, according to reports and that. But Inter Milan are only willing to pay so much of his wages. I think they have agreed to pay half of his £500,000 a week wages and that, and we're willing to pay the other half. So this now loan could actually go through, which is obviously very, very good news. So that's the latest news about Alexis Sanchez. But I want to give you, like I did say yesterday, I give you my analysis of the Manchester United, Crystal Palace game, and we lost by 2-1 against Crystal Palace. Third game into the Premier League season. We had a fantastic start against Chelsea, winning comfortably by 4-0. Drawing with Wolves 1-1, which was a disappointment, and losing to Crystal Palace yesterday by 2-1 at Old Trafford for the first time actually, in Premier League history in that. And I haven't really seen a change, to be quite honest. I've seen a little bit of a change. I said, we do look better this season than what I've seen anyway. I could see the vast improvements, throughout pre-season, because we did do well throughout pre-season, but pre-season's meaningless in that. But you can still see the problematic areas in the squad, and you can quite say, we didn't do enough business, throughout the course of the summer and that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wasn't backed enough, even though the board did assure that there was going to be a backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, throughout the course of the summer. We recommended three good players to the football club. We spent £148 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, but we do believe that's not enough, because obviously we didn't get that midfielder in. Obviously it's just a shame, because obviously we didn't get a replacement for Lukaku, we didn't get a replacement for Fernando Herrera, we didn't get that right winner in, because obviously throughout the course of the summer as well, we had been in search for right winner. But I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window. But I think regardless of what happens this season, I think Solskjaer's job should be safe for this season at least, because I think the board have come to terms. They know that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough throughout the course of the summer. He didn't get all the players that he wanted in, and I did say certain players at a certain calibre and level would have had reservations about joining the football club, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football and that. But I think the board have assured that Solskjaer will be backed in the next couple of windows and that. But yeah, definitely further more investment is needed in the squad. And the vast majority of Man United fans are criticising Ed Woodward. They're also criticising the board, and they're demanding the likes of Ed Woodward and the Glazers out the football club and that. But like I said, prior to this summer transfer window, we haven't been competitive enough in the previous windows. We didn't get anyone in January. We didn't, of course, get our number one targets last summer. So it is a huge disappointment in that. And I'm happy with the three signings that we did bring in. I'm happy that we got that experienced centre half in. I'm happy that we got that right back in and that. But we still need to address that midfield, because I have got concerns and developments in our current midfield. But Solskjaer give his overall analysis on the summer the summer window, and he says he's delighted with the summer transfer business and that. But you know, we need to see further more investment in January, because obviously our expectations this season is to finish in that top four. Well, I do believe it will be to finish in that top four. You know, maybe win some silverware and that. And I think our expectations maybe in the next couple of years is to probably mount a title challenge up, or probably win the league in that. But analysing our current squad at the moment, you know, it isn't of course good enough to win the league. But I did initially say that our aspirations, our aspirations will be that top four in the next couple of seasons and that. But I did say, we have obviously got big ambitions for the future, and obviously want to get back to winning silverware. And this is something that obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the football club. Solskjaer wants to bring that fear factor back to Manchester United, and that fear factor hasn't been there, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. So, and like I said, with the dimension of this club, with the history of this club, because obviously we know we are the most successful team in England, historically, in that, we should be up there challenging and of course winning trophies and that. And obviously, we're not doing this at the moment. And like I said, giving my overall analysis on that game against Crystal Palace yesterday, I wouldn't say it was a bad performance of Manchester United. We had the majority of the ball. I think we had 70 odd possession. Crystal Palace had 20 odd of the possession. That actually, we had a lot of chances in the game. Didn't really create a lot, but we did have a lot of chances in that game. I think we had over 20 shots in the game and that. But that's just proving in that particular game that we wasn't clinical enough, and that's something we need to do. We need to be more clinical, and that was very, very clinical against Chelsea. Wasn't so clinical against Wolves, and we wasn't clinical against Crystal Palace yesterday. When Crystal Palace got their chances, they're taking their chances, of course. And Crystal Palace's first goal shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. Slup, whatever his name is, it's Jeffrey Slup. He shouldn't have won that header as easy as he did. It was a good little header to find Jordan Ayew. It was a good finisher from Jordan Ayew, and that was 1-0 to Crystal Palace and that. But we did have a lot of the ball and that, and we had chances and that. But I think we just like that tempo. Wasn't clinical enough in the final third and that, and that's our problem, and that was one of our problems last season. We lacked that pace up front. This is why last season wasn't scoring enough goals. This is why I wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal. I do believe now we have got that pace up front and that. But he's obviously still problems in that, and I was very, very disappointed, with Rashford missing that penalty. Obviously, we do know it was a good run for McTominay, to win the penalty as well. McTominay got brought down. Rashford obviously, taking the penalty. He'd missed the penalty. I think he hit the inside of the post with Marcus Rashford. Obviously, this obviously was in the second half. That's two penalties now we have missed in 2 games, because obviously, Pogba missed penalty against Wolves. Obviously, Paul probably got a lot of criticism for that. I think he'd suffered online racial abuse, but I think actually, Paul Pogba has handled, that situation, quite well. We did get the equaliser, just before the 90th minute mark, through Daniel James, which was very, very good to see. Obviously, it was good to see, Martial get the assist in that, and Daniel James obviously scored 2 goals this season so far for the club, and, it was a very, very good finish from him in that. And, we put 5 minutes added time on the referee, and then, Palace didn't, Patrick Van Aanholt got the winner in the, was it the 92nd, was it the 93rd minute of stoppage time and that'd be usually yours, back in under the Alex Ferguson era, because under Alex Ferguson, we'd produce fantastic comebacks, we score last minute winners and that, but we're not doing that now. It seems to be teams that are doing that against us, and Palace, did that yesterday. Van Aanholt's goal, was it lucky? Palace were a bit fortuitous in the game, to be quite honest with you. De Gea, he did save it, but I think it went under him, did the shot from Patrick Van Aanholt, but obviously, it did currently go in that. And like I said, there's still areas that need to be addressed in the squad, because I think, we need leadership in the team. We need someone who can take set pieces better. We need someone who can obviously, create chances and that. So there's a lot of problems at Manchester United at the moment. So far, 3 games into the season, 1 win, 1 draw, and of course 1 loss in that. Obviously, our next game, of course, is Southampton away from home, is it? And that's not obviously going to be an easy game. But you'd have thought we'd have beat Crystal Palace yesterday, because Crystal Palace, they're winless in their 2 games before they played us yesterday, because they lost to Sheffield United 1-0. They drew with Everton on the first game of the season, 0-0 and that. And obviously, Roy Hodgson, he's just overcome Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Roy Hodgson. And Roy Hodgson's, he's basically too old to manage now, in my opinion. And I think he's managed over 20 teams in his managerial career as Roy Hodgson, but like I said, it's an embarrassment, losing to Crystal Palace and that. It's not that we played badly, we just didn't take us chances when they came. We had a lot of the ball and that. But Crystal Palace, did get fortuitous, but you can't just blame the luck. You know, it's you've got to Manchester United have got to have we've got to have a hard look at ourselves, and you know, just got to basically accept defeat. But I still believe this season we're going to have a much better season, or a better season than what we did last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. You know, we finished sixth. Obviously, you know, we didn't win any silverware, and of course we failed there to qualify for the Champions League. And you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, you know, it all worked out in that 3-month period. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exceeded expectation levels. You know, the results were good, the performances were really good. You know, he won his first 8 games as Man United manager, did Solskjaer. Then we won 14 out of 19 games in all competitions. Then obviously Solskjaer got the job permanently at the end of March, obviously. It was the end of March. I think it was the 28th of March. He got appointed Manchester United manager permanently. Then we only won 2 games out of 10 and that. And look what happened last season. You know, we lost to Cardiff at home on the last game of the Premier League season. And that, you know, we even drew to Huddersfield on the second to last game of last season as well. So what is obviously going on in that, and I'm hopeful as well that this season our record against the top 6 sides is going to improve, because our record against the top 6 sides, you know, was very disappointing last season. But yeah, we need to see further more investment in the January transfer window. We have got a few injuries, but that's no excuse either. I think we've only got around 3 or 4 players out, you know, for injury. Obviously we know Eric Bay's out, he's out obviously until, you know, Christmas, you know, with a serious knee injury. And I think Eric Bay's Manchester United career has been mainly affected, you know, with the amount of injuries he has sustained, and that even though he is an imperative player, he's Eric Bay, and you know, when he plays he's got great potential and that, but we do know he's out till Christmas, and this is now his 4th season as a Manchester United player, Eric Bay. I think if the right offer came in for Eric Bay, I think we would consider, you know, offloading the player, because like I said, his career has been mainly affected with the injuries sustained, or not only with the injuries, you know, with his fallout under managers. So Bay's out. Diego Dalot, of course, that got confirmed before the game against Palace, that obviously, you know, he's out with injury. I think he's set to return to action after the international break, is Diego Dalot, but he did confirm he's got an injury. Diego Dalot, you know, did well throughout pre-season when he played, and I think, you know, he should get given his chances this season. But obviously we do know that Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back, and you know, we have got quite a few fullbacks. You've got Bissaka, who's the first choice right back. You've probably got Ash Young, that's the backup. You've got Diego Dalot, that, you know, obviously, you know, like I said, we'll get given the chance. But Diego Dalot, his versatility is good, because he can play. He's predominantly a right back, but can also play as a left back. He can also play him as a right winger. So his versatility, and that's really good. We've got quite a few full backs. We've also got Fosu Mensah out. I think he's also, you know, a long-term absence. I think it also said that Lee Grant's still injured, and I think we've still got, obviously, you know, Alexis Sanchez out. And of course, Alexis Sanchez is out. So we've only got a couple of injuries in that. We've only got a couple of injuries and that, but I do believe, you know, more players do need to be sold, because, you know, these still problematic players at Manchester United, and you know, 4 players have departed the football club, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. And you know, Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Man United. We saw Ander Herrera, of course, leave the football club. You know, Ander Herrera was our 2nd best player, and I thought he had a great tenure at Manchester United. Ander Herrera, he had 5 great years at the football club and that, and I think it was a bad mistake for Man United, you know, letting him go. So in that aspect, that was bad business for Manchester United. You know, we didn't only let him go, we let him go on a free transfer as well. And you know, we didn't even recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera, which was a disappointment. Marian Fellaini, I'm delighted that he went in January. You know, he served 6 years at Manchester United. For the majority of that 6 years, he was widely inconsistent, was Marian Fellaini. And of course, Romelu Lukaku left the football club and that. But I think more players do need to leave. So I think we need to get rid of Rojo. He's one player that needs to leave the football club. I don't think Rojo's played in the Premier League this season. I know he played, you know, throughout pre-season, that did Rojo, but I don't think he's played this season of what I know anywhere. And I think Rojo obviously isn't first choice, but I think, like I said, I've got the same thoughts about Eric Bay. You know, Rojo's Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. He is injury prone, is Marcus Rojo. You know, he just got under 2 years left there on his contract with Manchester United, and that we put around £25 million valuation on him. Don't forget, Everton inquired about getting him on deadline day and that. But, he can still go to a European club because the transfer window, doesn't shut until the 2nd of September and that. But Rojo's one player we need to get rid of. I think with Darmian, he's another player we need to get rid of. With Matteo Darmian, he's enjoyed a very difficult time at Manchester United. I think if Darmian is to leave the football club, I think he could make a return back to Italy, because obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger and that. And I think Inter Milan have showed their interest in Matteo Darmian. But he's obviously I think this is now his 5th season as a Manchester United player, or 4th season as a Manchester United player. And Darmian during his tenure has sustained quite a few injuries. He has played, but he just really hasn't been given the chance. So I think it's very beneficial if we do get rid of Darmian. If we got rid of Rojo and Darmian, I think we could generate maybe from between 30 to 35 million pounds for their departure and that. So they're two players that do need to leave the football club. Obviously with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, they're going to find game time very difficult this season. Obviously, following the arrival of Harry Maguire in that, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre back, so obviously going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. And to be fair, they have complemented each other fantastically well so far, and they look very, very good in that back line. And obviously Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've got in our back line this present time. And that, these still question marks regarding Victor Lindelof, can he keep the consistency up? Victor Lindelof did get embarrassed yesterday for Crystal Palace's first goal, and that maybe some people said Harry Maguire, should have dealt with it. But I still think Victor Lindelof is flourishing at Manchester United. He may have the odd bad game, but, I think, he's improving, because he was good in his 2nd season with Man United. He was also good in pre-season with Victor Lindelof and that. But I do believe he's the long-term solution for Manchester United, is Lindelof and that. But obviously they are our first choice centre-back partnerships. And, I've been very impressed with Harry Maguire so far. I've been very, very impressed with him. He did well on his debut against Chelsea. Didn't really watch him against the Wolves game, so I can't really comment about that. I don't think he was too bad yesterday against Crystal Palace, was Harry Maguire in that. But like I said, I think we did overpay for Harry Maguire. We did definitely overpay for him, because obviously he's our 2nd most expensive signing, behind Paul Pogba. He's also the most expensive defender in the world in that. But I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United, because he's Premier League proven, his distribution's good, he's very good in the air, he shows that ability to play out from the back as Maguire. He's not really fast, but I don't think that's a concern of element in that. But I think he's going to do fantastic at Manchester United. I don't think we're going to concede as many goals as we did last season, because last season we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games, and that was actually our highest total in 40 years. So I'm very happy that we have addressed our defensive deficiencies in that, but I've still got a lot of concerns about that midfield. So I have still got a hell of a lot of concerns about our midfield, and it does obviously need to be addressed in that. But like I said, I'm happy with the 3 signings, of course, that recommended in. My overarching view, obviously, on Daniel James is that, I know he's scored 2 goals so far this season, but I think Daniel James is still a prospect, and of course, he needs time to develop and that, and he's still improvements needed in his game. He's got electrifying pace. He's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, but we've actually, so far, we've mainly played Daniel James on that right-hand side and that. But anyway, he can play it on each flank. He's still 21 years of age, and he has still got a lot of development minimum and that. But yeah, I'm the overarching view on Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. I think, prior to the game yesterday, I think, they've started the season, really, really well. Of Rashford and Martial, you've got Martial that scored 2 goals so far this season. You've got Rashford that's obviously scored 2 goals so far this season and that. So I think they've started the season really, really well overall. Apart from the game yesterday, obviously Rashford, I think, will be playing more on the flank this season, even though he can play centrally, because, Martial's obviously, playing centrally. Obviously, like I said, it confirmed at the start of the season that Anthony Martial has been given that number 9 shirt, because he seems to be more effective in that central position. That obviously, got proven, throughout pre-season and that. And I did say, even though Martial and Rashford were inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, I still believe, they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United. And I think, they're going to both have good seasons this season. I've set a goal tally for Martial and Rashford. I think both players this season should be scoring from at least 15 to 20 goals and that. But they are still both very, very young. They're developing well. Martial, I think, is 23. Rashford, of course, is 21 years of age. And I think, with Martial, I think his speed's good, his penetration's good and that. And I think his finishing and that's improved. And I think with Rashford, he's really, really good at receiving the ball. He's good at getting them runs in behind, when he's playing to his potential best. and I think he is really, really good. I think they're both good in that aspect, Martial and Rashford, and that, you know, they haven't yet quite emulated to that level, but you know, they've got good pace as well of both players. You know, Mason Greenwood and that, you know, obviously as it confirmed at the start of the season, he's been assured more playing time this season. I think he's been coming off the bench so far as Mason Greenwood, if I'm right. I don't think he's actually started from the start yet as Greenwood, but he has obviously been coming off the bench, and that's obviously he has been involved in that. And Solskjaer explained the reason why we didn't get that replacement from Lukaku, to obviously prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood. And Mason Greenwood is what, 17 years of age. You know, he's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him, and that he did well throughout pre-season. You know, he did well in the reserves last season. That did Mason Greenwood. So I hope he can succeed at Manchester United. But I think the young upcoming players anyway, you know, should become a fruition this season. They were a fruition, you know, throughout pre-season, that, but we have got quite a few young upcoming players in that, and I do believe the majority of them, you know, will of course get given the chance. I do believe, you know, Chon, of course, you know, will get given his opportunities. But I did say Greenwood, Chong, and the likes of Angel Gomez, you know, they should be a big part of the squad this season. And my opinions on our midfield, like I said, you know, I think it's very, very imperative now that we do keep Paul Pogba at the football club. Obviously, you know, with our failure, you know, to sign a midfielder, you know, throughout the course of the summer and that, because, you know, when Paul Pogba's at his best, you know, he's like two players in one. And I think what Paul Pogba's really good at, you know, when he's playing well, I think is he can score goals, he can provide assists, and I think you see the best of Paul Pogba, you know, when he's freed up and that. But I think Paul Pogba's, you know, he makes good runs, you know, he feeds the attackers really, really well and that. And obviously, I think it's very imperative, you know, that we're trying to convince him to remain at the football club and that. But if we can convince Paul Pogba to remain at Manchester United, you know, we've got to avoid Paul Pogba, you know, getting an injury this season and that, because we haven't really got a backup. You know, I know we've got the likes of McTominay, Pereira and Fred and that. I still don't know if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United. You know, I still am, you know, very, very sceptical about that. I know McTominay, you know, has done well so far. You know, McTominay made his 50th appearance for us in all competitions yesterday, because obviously, you know, he started the game against Crystal Palace and that. He started the game against Crystal Palace and that, and obviously, you know, he was the architect for us, you know, winning that penalty and that, and I thought he did quite well yesterday at McTominay, but I still don't know if he's got all the attributes to succeed as a Manchester United player. Like I said, I've got the same thoughts about Fred and Pereira. With Fred, you know, you know, in the games he did play throughout pre-season, you know, I thought it was quite impressive, and you know, Fred, you know, should be he should get given more opportunities this season. I thought Fred was impressive towards the back end of last season. That, to be fair, Fred never really got the opportunity under the Jose Mourinho era, and that he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, was Fred, but he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United and that. So, you know, he has been a huge disappointment, you know, so far and that, but hopefully, you know, Fred can get better. And Solskjaer did say he expects to see better things from Fred this season. I thought we overpaid for Fred. You know, we paid just under £50 million for him. He's actually on that list of one of our most expensive signings and that. But I still believe the likes of Fred, McTominay and Pereira, they're much better solutions, you know, than Nemanja Matic. And I think Fred's actually more mobile and better on the ball than Matic. And I think Matic is very, very inconsistent. You know, he isn't getting any younger, of course. He is aging up. And I think when he participates in that midfield, I think you know, the midfield's slow. You know, the midfield looks imbalanced and all that. So Matic is a very, very inconsistent player. I know we have seen glimpses of how good he can be and that. You know, he can pass the ball well and that. You know, but he's too slow. Is the Nemanja Matic, and we paid, was it £40 million for him from Chelsea a couple of years ago. Obviously, it was, in that aspect, it was bad business, because at the time we got Matic, it wasn't our first choice anyway. I think it was like our third choice signing and that. But at the time under the Jose Mourinho era, you know, he had an obsession with tall players and that, and obviously, you know, Solskjaer reunited with Matic, obviously, you know, when he first came in at the time and that, and you know, I think at the time Mourinho was happy with the signing. I wasn't really happy with the signing and that, but I did expect a lot better from him, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, he's highly experienced and he won a couple of titles, I think, you know, when he was at Chelsea and that, did Matic. But, you know, I just don't think he's going to be first choice this season, you know, due to his inconsistency. But yeah, very, very inconsistent indeed is Matic. But for me, I think we need someone that can play alongside Pogba in our midfield, and I think, you know, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, you know, would have been fantastic. I would have been excited about the prospect of Bruno Fernandes, you know, playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield and that. But I do believe the majority of the plays, we was in for, throughout the course of the summer. I do believe we will probably reignite our interest in them plays in the January transfer window. I do believe we'll probably go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. I think we'll probably, maybe go back in for Christian Eriksen. Even though we do believe that Christian Eriksen's first choice preference is a move to Real Madrid and that. I think we could go back in for maybe Mandzukic because we inquired about getting him, before the transfer window shut. But I think that he did say the board have got reservations about recommending him, reflecting on his age, because he is around 33 years of age now. He's Mandzukic, so he's obviously coming to an end of his career and that. We could go back in for Dybala as well. So there was quite a few players, we was in for, throughout the course of the summer. The news I give you about Jadon Sancho the other week and that, obviously it did say he's set to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer. So I think this is going to be his last season, I think, with Borussia Dortmund, according to reports. Obviously, reflecting back in the January transfer window, we identified Jadon Sancho as our number one priority target. Obviously, we was in for him, but obviously we do know next summer it's going to cost us a substantial amount. I think we're going to have to pay in the access of around £100 million for him, and that's a substantial amount. Well, it is a substantial amount anywhere, especially it's a substantial amount anyway, especially for the 19-year-old and that. But Jadon Sancho, has had 2 good seasons with Borussia Dortmund. This is his 3rd season now with Borussia Dortmund and that. But I think, if Jadon Sancho was to come back to the Premier League, I think it would create a better platform for him. I think it would help him with his development and that. And I think he's got all the attributes, if he was to come to the Premier League, to succeed in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. And, Jadon Sancho's had experience of playing in the Premier League. Don't forget, he had a couple of years with Manchester City, but he never really got the chance at Man City. He was never, assured to get to play in the first team regularly. This is the main factor reason why I left City and of course went to Borussia Dortmund, and Borussia Dortmund got him for only paid around, was it £7 or £8 million for him and that. So Borussia Dortmund did sell. If Borussia Dortmund were to sell him for £100 million next summer, they would make a huge profit on the player, and we can afford to pay £100 million for him. Obviously, we're a massive club. We've got massive revenues and that. And, we've got a history of spending big on players and overpaying for our players and that. But Jadon Sancho is primarily a winner. It can also play centrally in that. But I would be excited about the prospect of putting Jadon Sancho alongside the likes of Rashford, Martial and Daniel James. I think he complement our attacking line, really, really well in that. But still only 19 years of age. Plus, he's British, and Solskjaer did confirm throughout the summer that he wanted to, recruit British talents to the football club and that. And I think Jadon Sancho would be the right solution for Manchester United. So I think we'll probably, go in there for him next summer. He did say the other week, actually, we was favourites, to sign Jadon Sancho next summer. But I think the main factor reason why we missed out on him throughout the course of this summer is because obviously we failed to qualify for the Champions League, so that actually screwed the deal as well. And Jadon Sancho, I think, is still under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. I do believe Sancho has made around 60 first team appearances for Dortmund, scored around 16 goals, provided 20 odd assists and that, so his stats are quite impressive and that. So obviously Borussia Dortmund have lost quite a few of their players in recent years, and they've generated a substantial amount for the departures. They sold Aubameyang a couple of years ago for around, £56 million. They also sold Ousmane Dembele a couple of years ago and that. I think they got over £100 million for him. Did Borussia Dortmund. They also lost Pulisic to Chelsea, don't forget, but I think they got £47 million for him. So they've lost quite a few of their key players in recent years of Dortmund. And like I said, with Ousmane Dembele, he was good at Dortmund, but he hasn't really replicated that at Barcelona, because obviously I think he's become injury prone since he's become a Barcelona player, and that, especially in his first season. He was out for the majority of the season, with injury and that. But yeah, I'd love Jadon Sancho at Manchester United, of course, next summer, because like I said, throughout the course of the summer, was in search for the winner. We was in search for a winner. But look, like I said, analysing the last 6 years or 7 years, I've been unhappy, the way that the football club has been run. But, look at the money that's been spent in the last 6 years at Manchester United, since Alex Ferguson's retirement in 2013. It got revealed when we confirmed the signing of Harry Maguire early on this summer. it said all in all, including what we spent under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer and all the other managerial areas, we have spent £968 million. That's just under £1 billion we have spent in 6 years in that. If you want to obviously take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson, obviously, it's way over £1 billion, we have obviously, spent in that. Obviously, we've seen players come in, and of course we've seen our players go. But like I said, there's been cultural problems at the football club for the last, 5 or 6 years now, and like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club, and I'm very, very hopeful, it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our 4th manager, since Alex Ferguson's retirement, and that obviously 3 managers have already been sacked from the football club, and like I said, we haven't got the structure, of course, to keep sacking managers, and like I said, Solskjaer, you could still say, is in the process of rebuilding, because obviously he's brought 3 players in. These 3 players, there's only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's anywhere. Solskjaer's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's still inheriting players even in the Louis van Gaal era. He's still inheriting Matty from the David Moyes era. And of course, there's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting. But Solskjaer confirmed that he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy in that. But I'm very, very hopeful that Solskjaer can get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club and that. And he did it under Jose Mourinho. It didn't work out under Mourinho, even though he had that proven pedigree, was regarded as one of the best managers in the world, based on his success and that. But it didn't work out under him, because obviously, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend to the football club, because reflecting back last summer, Jose Mourinho's priority, of course, was to obviously, recommend an experienced centre-half in and that. We only managed to get 3 players last summer. We got Diego Dalot for 20 million. We paid just under 50 million for Fred, and of course we got Lee Grant in. And it didn't work out under Mourinho, because he had bad disputes with the board as well. He also had bad disputes with the top players. There was no sort of transfer strategy under Mourinho. There was no sort of winning philosophy. It was part of the bus football under Jose Mourinho. So these are the reasons why it didn't work out under him and that. And even though we spent a substantial amount on Jose Mourinho, we spent just under £400 million on 11 players. Of course, I think them 11 players are still here now. And obviously under Louis van Gaal, with Louis van Gaal, I had the sort of same level of hatred for Louis van Gaal than I did David Moyes. Under Louis van Gaal, didn't obviously the right philosophy and that. The football was turgid under the Louis van Gaal era, and that. Even though good players were brought into the football club under the Louis van Gaal era, there's still some of them players here now from the Louis van Gaal era, and obviously we do know that some of them have left. Van Gaal brought players like Di Maria in. You could say that was one of the mistakes Man United did by getting rid of Di Maria, because I thought Di Maria, had a fantastic start in the Louis van Gaal era when he came in. Obviously, we paid just under £60 million for Di Maria at the time and that. So that maybe could be one of the mistakes we did, getting rid of him. We brought Memphis Depay in under Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, I think we got him from PSV and that. But Memphis Depay enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Man United. I think was a year or two Depay. But it was very, very inconsistent in that. But I think since he's left Man United and he's gone to Lyon, I think he has delivered very, very well for Lyon as Memphis Depay and that. We brought the likes of Falcao in, Schneiderlin, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Martial still here from the Van Gaal era, Luke Shaw still here from the Louis van Gaal era. From the Louis van Gaal era, under Herrera was, but obviously now he's left the football club. So yeah, Louis van Gaal, brought quite a few players in to the football club and that. And like I said, with David Moyes, didn't work out under him, because obviously he only had a short tenure anywhere at Manchester United. Did David Moyes, I think he only had around 7 or 8 months in the job. But like I said at the time, it wasn't going to work out under David Moyes, because obviously he never had that proven pedigree. He did really, really well with Everton, but he never dealt with top players. Really. Never had the experience of managing, to the highest level and that. So I did say it wasn't going to work out under Moyes. And obviously we do know at the time Alex Ferguson, recommended David Moyes in, because obviously, Alex Ferguson and David Moyes obviously, were best mates, and obviously, they are both Scottish and that. But like I said, we're never going to replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson. That we're never going to be the team what we was under Alex Ferguson. No one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy, regardless, of course, of who our manager is in that. But like I said, at least Solskjaer had a transfer strategy, and at the start of the summer, he'd worked out his transfer strategy. He did basically say that he wanted to recommend a number of young players into the football club that could grow, develop and emulate in superstars and that. So at least he had some kind of a transfer strategy. But like I said, we're known for spending big on players. We haven't only spent big on players. We've also got players on big contracts and that. But like I said, I love Solskjaer a lot. He was a great player for us for 11 years under the Alex Ferguson era and that. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments was obviously as a player was back in 1999, of course, when he scored the goal. That obviously, of course, won us the treble and that at the Nou Camp against Bayern Munich, and that's obviously, one of our greatest achievements and that. Yeah, so that was one of his most iconic moments as a player, and he's got the experience as a manager, Solskjaer, a little bit, not really to the highest level in that. So that's something that obviously does concern me in that. But I'm still hopeful that he can succeed at Manchester United. And like I said as well, I was disappointed that we didn't get a director of footballing, because obviously. Throughout early on in the summer, we was in search for a sporting director, as you all know, and obviously I said we needed a structural change at the club and that, and we was in search for a sporting director. There was quite a few names mentioned, who could have taken that sporting director, that technical director's role at the club, and I did say at the time it would have been beneficial for us, to recommend, someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who, of course, who's got that experience in that. And there was quite a few names mentioned, but then obviously we didn't get a sporting director in, and obviously, we ended up, letting Ed Woodward, oversee our transfer business, throughout the course of the summer and that. So there's still furthermore investment, needed in the Manchester United squad without a shadow of a doubt. Because I think analysing our squad at the moment, I think it's definitely good enough for the top 4 finish, definitely. So if we finish out the top 4 this season, there's no excuse at all. But yeah, I think we're going to mount a title challenge up maybe in the next year or two, or something like that anywhere. But at the moment, City are strides ahead of us. Obviously, we do know Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us, and I think it's going to be between them for the league this season. To be quite honest with you, Liverpool have had a great start to the season. I think they've won 3 games out of 3 in the Premier League, four all in all. They beat Norwich on the first game 4-1. I think they beat. Who did they beat on the second game now? I think they beat Southampton 2-1, didn't they? And I think, they actually beat Arsenal 3-1 yesterday, so they've won 3 out of 3, and obviously they beat Chelsea in the Super Cup. Liverpool haven't won the, league for 30 years. They haven't won it all in all for 30 years. They've never won the Premier League since they got founded in, 92, 93. But Liverpool definitely, will be up there this season. They came close last season, just missed out on it last season. Manchester City, of course, won it last season. They also came close under the Brendan Rodgers era as well, did Liverpool. And Liverpool did invest well in the last couple of windows. They didn't obviously make any investment throughout the course of this summer, but I did say Liverpool didn't obviously need to sign anybody. But Liverpool did comfortably beat Arsenal. I think Salah got 2 goals in the game and that. And with Arsenal, I said they should have a better season this season, but their record against the top 6 sides, Arsenal's, is obviously very, very poor and that. With Man City, obviously I think they play today. This is their 3rd game today. Obviously, City have won 1 and they've drawn 1 and that. But I think it will be between City and Liverpool this season. I think Tottenham should have a better season as well. With Tottenham, they invested well throughout the course of the summer. They did really, really good business on deadline day. So looking at it, Tottenham should be up there this season. That should be up there this season. So the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news within regards to Alexis Sanchez and that. Reportedly now he's on the verge of leaving Man United. Solskjaer's give his overarching view on it, and he said he still could leave Manchester United and that. But Solskjaer confirmed, these are a number of clubs that are interested in him. But Solskjaer recently held a fresh negotiation with Sanchez, regarding his future and that. So reportedly, Inter Milan are set I think we're going to get him on loan with the option to buy for a further £20 million next year. And reportedly, for us to get rid of him, we're going to have to pay 13 million in his wages and that. So I think this is going to go through. Inter Milan are willing to pay half of his wages. We're willing to pay the other half of his wages. So I think we're going to, according to reports anywhere, we could be getting rid of Alexis Sanchez. Which is obviously very, very good news. I think for the vast majority of Manchester United fans anywhere. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very soon. Thanks for watching.